Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the ACCSS Championship Season 8 Rookie and Silver Splits. I'm joined tonight in the commentary box by Chris Meadows. Say hello, Chris.
Hi, Roy. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Great to have you here. And tonight, don't be fooled by the video you see on your screens at the moment. We are at night time in Kyalami. And the rookie split is out on track now qualifying, so we shall jump over and see how they're getting on.
Exciting. How do you feel about nighttime races, Roy? Do you think they make much of an impact, or are you happy to race at track any time of day?
Yeah, I think they can be quite scary to get used to initially, but yeah, overall, it's like any other race really, other than just having to look out for the headlights. How about yourself?
I think it probably says something that I don't pay attention far enough up the track. That nighttime racing doesn't make too much of an impact for me. Like, none of my braking markers or any of those things particularly change. It's just the people around me tend to sometimes struggle a bit more. So maybe I'm blessed in that, is that nighttime often doesn't really change my lines much. I know some people complain about not being able to see their markers at that time of day, but it's not really something I've ever struggled with.
Yeah, the markers aren't usually, for me it's usually just sometimes seeing the other cars if they forget to stick their headlights on, but hopefully you won't see any of those sorts of shenanigans tonight.
No, well, headlights are now a requirement, so you should see everybody with their lights on all of the time.
But as we can see here with Pretorius, nice headlight shining bright as he comes around, and where on the track are we actually? Is that just coming down the hairpin at the top onto the long back straight?
That race taxi livery is so nice, isn't it? I love that one. Love a fake taxi livery.
Yeah, there are some beautiful liveries, and once we've seen this lap from Pretorius, we'll go have a wander around the grid and see what we can find. So it looks like we've currently got. Oh, look.
It's been Pretorius compromised on the very last corner of his banker lap. See what kind of time he can put in.
So say
it's not great.
Says,
I don't think that last corner cost him 4 seconds, I'm not gonna lie.
No, but yeah, 1:48. I think he's definitely going to be able to find some more time around this lap.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we're looking, the 1:43.2 from the Hughes in the leader of AM. I think that's an absolute cracking time. I think if anyone can get close to beating that, obviously track evolution being a thing, that's still a cracking time for a rookie split.
Yeah,
Bentley right there.
I think anyone who's getting into the low 140s, 143s here is really doing themselves proud.
For sure.
Rookie split. And cheers to Paul Glover there, as my co-commentator from Monza is helping me out with getting the timing tower displayed. That makes life a bit easier.
What a hero Paul Glover is and continues to be.
I know, absolute hero and a legend. And as we say that, we've got Jay Brown's just put in a 1:42.9.
Oh, cracking lap.
Top. So yeah, we're already beginning to see these rookie drivers getting themselves into the 1:42s, and I'm going to be honest, I'm feeling a bit fearful about my qualifying tomorrow in the bronze split.
I don't know. I think these time of days, I think the race servers do always seem to run a little quicker than you might expect in practice, and I think it being nighttime and a low track temperature will decrease the lap times. I think it's easier to do a faster lap time in these temps than it is 30 degrees in the daytime. So this is a good chance for all of our rookie and silver drivers to really put their lap down and show what they really can do.
Car 62, please return to the pit lane.
As we get our first message from race control, so we'll be hoping to bring you those messages throughout the sessions here. So don't be alarmed if it sounds like you're getting binged by the checkout. That's just our stewards checking in.
I love it about the race control bell. But get used to it. You're gonna hear DT a lot tonight. Oh. Brown oversteering on the exit of the last turn, cost himself a couple of tenths there. Yeah, he bowed out of the lap.
Yeah, not surprised there, but looks like Roy Bottomley's looking to improve on his lap time in the AF Course Ferrari. Quite a nice livery. We're seeing currently running, I think it's in World Endurance at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
I do love that livery. It's my favourite Ferrari livery, that one, I think. Not driving the Ferrari, I love to see that one. It's so classic Ferrari, the Italian stripe, mostly red.
Yeah, you don't get much more Italian than that, do you?
That is Ferrari to me.
And Hughes looking like... I was going to say looking like he might be looking to improve his lap, but not with that amount of oversteer, you don't.
No, that hairpin that has got to be the trickiest corner on this track. I don't know how you feel about it, but that is the one that can make or break a lap time for me.
Yeah, so it's such a long run down to the next corner, and it's just how confident do you feel getting on that throttle? It's a little bit too much, and you're spinning it round as we saw there.
Exactly. We should find somebody to go on board with and do a lap of Kyalami? Who do you think's going to do a clean one? That's the question, though.
Ooh. Now you've issued a challenge.
Number 24, N Hughes. He's just binned it at the hairpin. Here we go into turn 1, braking just before the 100 meters, getting it turned in for that apex of turn 1. He's just missed a little bit. You want to get that throttle down hard. Don't ride too much on the curb. Either side here, dodging the sausage curb on the left. Getting the braking right for the left-hander up onto the straight, which, as we discussed pre-stream, is so key.
Yep, and then just coming onto the long, fast right-hander here. It's looking like he's 1.5 tenths up on his previous best, so going strong. Comes into the heavy braking zone.
Yeah, trail braking key in a lot of these corners, not bleeding off too much speed. He gets a good exit down into the S's, where again it's key to not ride too much curb. The curves at Kyalami, I've explained this to a friend of mine, the first 30% nice and friendly, the rest just wants to murder you.
Yeah, and so many of these corners just so important to keep up that maximum speed. You want to use as much of the track as possible without abusing those curbs, because as you say, yeah, they can just kick you out at a moment's notice.
He's making a good run down into Sunrise, I believe, this corner. Tricky, multiple lines into this corner. Taking the wide one, going for the apex. Oh, a bit of oversteer on the exit. Yeah, too early on the throttle.
Yeah, he's losing that time now. Yeah,
he's
bailing
bailed out of the lap. So here's a question for you. Crocodile, that right-hander with the sausage curb on the inside, lift or brake?
Oh, I do a touch of brake. Little bit too nervous for that one.
I'm part of the lift-only crew. I never brake for that corner. I do drive an Aston, to put it in context, so it's mega stable, but I never brake for that corner, lift only.
Oh, I might have to give that a go in the Ferrari and see how it handles it. My suspicion is not well, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Knowing the people, yeah. Thing is, I can in the Aston, I can take a good chunk of that curb without hitting the sausage, with no unbalancing. So I can accelerate on the apex regardless. Whereas I know from other people, I've not driven the Ferrari much, but I know, well, the hearsay I hear is that over curbs it's not the best.
No, it does, especially with its weight balance. It does like to kick out a bit if you unsettle it. But we've got Pretorius here looking to improve on their previous best. Still quite a scope for improvement. There's a good 6/10 between them and the next car, but there's enough time here for at least another couple of laps, so they'll be able to keep going around and see if they can improve on their current standing of 8th in bronze split. Or sorry, 7th in bronze split. Or rookie split. I need to get used to these names.
Alan Berg coming through the final corner, 3/10 up. Making 6/10 of the last corner. Bad exit though for him. Is that going to be good enough for P1? I don't think so.
Just not quite, but not far off. And
he has definitely got the potential for that pace. The last couple of corners he slid a lot. So if he can reduce that wheel spin out of the last couple of corners, there's an easy half second in this lap for him.
I guess with the saving grace with this split grid as well is at least he's closed up that gap to Brown. You know, it's unlikely you're going to see a silver split driver just parking themselves between the two of them. So they should be starting side by side or next rows on the grid rather than miles apart.
And here's a question for you, right? If you're the driver in the lower split and you're in qualification surrounded by the drivers in above split, so say you're clear, like not maybe clearly, but near the top of your split, so that you're starting the grid near the split above, what do you do in that situation? Do you race them? Do you let them all go? Like, what's the thought process that happens there?
For me personally, I don't necessarily race them, but I don't let them by. It's more of if they look like they've got the pace on me, they can have it. I'm not going to fight them. I'm not going to lose myself time, but absolutely not just going to let the crowd breeze past. If anything, they provide a little bit of a buffer to your direct competitors.
Yeah, for sure. And I've had the opposite experience at Monza in the second race last week. I was miles behind the pack due to a turn 1 incident and was racing people in a lower split than me, and my choice was to follow the blue flag through. So there was a blue flag driver, fortunately ahead of me, and I just stuck to his bumper as close as I could. So those drivers in a lower split that were yielding to the blue flags, I managed to gain positions on. So I think with these split races, strategy does play quite a role into the overall position you can get.
Indeed, and if we now go on board with Roy Bottomley, just coming around the final few corners, was looking like they were quite far up on their pace, but has just lost it around those final few corners, and well, was on for a potential there of taking the third spot in the rookie split qualifying, but just those final two corners really let it down for them.
And as we spoke about that, Kalberg binning his lap in T5 barbecue, oversteering on that exit curve, as we spoke about in the pre-chat, that left-hander that leads onto the main the back straight. That curve, so deadly if you're trying to accelerate on it, and Kalberg currently P2, falling prey to that one.
So currently the only driver who looks like they might be able to improve on their time here is Alex McGuigan, just coming around down to just off the hairpin.
Yes, Alex.
Pit exit is now green for all silver cars.
Oh, and as our steward comes on, or race control comes over the broadcast, that is the end of the qualifying for our rookie split. So they will be allowed to complete this current lap, but after that they'll need to return to the pit lane and allow the silver drivers to come out and set their times.
And it's
maybe
actually losing time to Eckhart von Glan, who was pitting due to it. Alice 3/10 up, losing it all through the end, but I guess maintaining P6. Yeah, she was on for a much quicker lap then if it wasn't for the car pitting in front of her. Unfortunate, but a good result for Alice. P6 in rookie. Should take that.
Indeed, and yeah, probably can't be too disappointed, as that 3/10 may not have actually gained her a position, as there's quite a gap to Bottomley ahead. So, although slightly impeded there, a good solid position, P6, as we now wait to see if our silver split drivers start setting some times.
Love to see Alice do well. She's been in so many endurance events and driven so much. She's so consistent as a driver. She might not have the one lap pace, but she can definitely compete when it comes to these races. So it's good to see her finishing so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Was driving alongside Alice in the what was back then the T6 split back in season 6, and yeah, it's definitely had some strong showings there, and yeah, quite a fierce competitor, especially around Donington. I think was where she got her season best result. As
some of the rookie split drivers. Who are you expecting for pole today? Any outright favourites?
Oh, sorry. Do you mean of the silver split drivers? For
Yeah, the silver split drivers. Yeah.
I mean, I have to put a bit of personal bias in there and say, be nice to see Vargas at the top. Was competing with him in the AM split last season. Was an exceptionally fast driver. Was really in a league of his own in that division, and yeah, over the past couple of races in Monza, really showed his talent there as well, taking the win in the second race. How about you?
From my point of view, I mean, Tweedy's got a good show if he can keep his emotions in check enough to put a clean, solid lap in. Tom's definitely a capable driver, but can let his emotions get the better of him. I think other people to watch out for is maybe Chris McKenna. That man did 6 hours of Kyalami by himself in the endurance race due to an issue with his teammates not being able to join him. So can't imagine many people have had more practice around this track than Chris.
That is some real dedication to sim racing there, to put in 6 hours alone around Kyalami.
Admittedly, he got a penalty at the end, but that did not diminish the respect that man got for finishing that race solo by himself.
Oh, and yes, I'm hoping he took some long pit breaks during that race. Otherwise, that is going to be an extremely uncomfortable 6 hours. As our
You ever see that South Park episode? You know, bring me the bottle.
That's not bear thinking about. As we start to see the first few silver drivers putting in their times, still yet to unseat Jay Brown at the top of this qualifying session at the moment, although there is still plenty of time and plenty of laps left to go.
Ooh, Sayakin with the 42.6. That's a very solid time. What do you imagine the pole time will be today for a silver split race?
Well, we've got to be looking at least mid 41s, I'd say.
I think with track evolution, I think we'll see the fastest boys hit a 41. I don't know if they can manage it in race pace, but if the Wednesday track was anything to go by, towards the end of quali, that track is so much faster, and if you time your lap right and you get it in those last 2 minutes, I think you stand a fantastic chance of getting in the top 3 or 5. So I do think qualifying at the right time is a skill. I think getting out not in traffic and being able to do a number of laps consistently without being bothered by traffic is super key to qualifying.
So here's the question then. Do you fuel the car up to go out for the full stint, or do you multi-stint it in quali?
No, for me personally, I generally put about 20 to 25 litres in, which is normally about 15 to 20 minutes of practice. In my testing, my 3rd or 4th lap is generally the fastest. And like a warm-up lap, a banker lap, and then I start to push. So those 3rd or 4th laps, that's where I really want to be. So those, if I was really trying to maximise my qualifying session, my 4th lap would be the last lap of the session, in timing wise.
Yeah, I used to be a multi-stinter, so I'd put in just enough to get my 3 laps in and see if I can, use that first little thin piece of rubber, the grippiest part of the tyre to go set the lap. But I just don't think I'm consistent enough of putting the laps in, and the time on the track is really the important part. As we see, we've got a Ferrari round, it looks like, in the first sector, that looked like, so I think they'll be returning to the pit lane to get rid of those flat spotted tyres.
Yeah, I don't think I'm good enough to make full, to optimise fully the fresh tyres on a push lap. My best laps always come after I've settled in a little, a few laps on those tyres. So yeah, for me personally, 3rd or 4th lap, so one-shot quali is where I suck the most. So DT, if you're listening, please no more one-shot qualies or super poles.
Diaz Gonzalez were looking like they were pretty in a strong position, looking like they could be making some pace around the final corner. So they come around now, and that is it going to be enough for pole? And it is. By 1/100th of a second, Diaz Gonzalez takes the preliminary pole position.
What time is that?
So 1:42.3.
That's a spicy time, that is, yeah. So obviously, from the 6 hours, we do know that the Audi does have a slight advantage on this track, if you know what you're doing.
As long as it doesn't kill you, you're fine.
Yeah, and I will say, I've raced with Juan Trujillo a bunch, and that boy does know how to race, so look out for him. Despite I know he's just dropped in the quali, but I think he's going to be a threat this race. That Audi has proved to be a threat around this track.
Well, and as we say that, 2 new drivers take their positions at the top of the standings. Chris McKenna, as you say, who drove that 6-hour race all on his own, and Matt F at the top, now with a 1:42.1, so those times are beginning to drop.
Matt F in the Porsche, yeah, has shown some rapid times, but unfortunately for himself has not been able to dodge the incidents that he would have hoped to have dodged in the past. I know myself and him had a touch at Kyalami that was on me, so apologies for that. And Matt F has shown to have pace, but that Porsche is also shown to have pace, but be a little bit deadly when it comes to later on in the stint.
Yes, Gonzalez just coming around the final corner again, and looking like they could have been on for a potential, could have been the first one into the 141s, but just lost a little bit of time around the final few corners and posts a 142.2 for second place.
I mean, a 42.2, that's a banging lap. Like, I'd be happy with that lap, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'll take it if you'd offered it to me.
But with 5 minutes to go, this is where the track is really starting to spice up. So the people that are starting their sort of warm-up laps now, they're the ones to really watch out for, because the next lap after this is maximum grip. If they can do a whole lap at maximum push, no oversteer, no snaps, if they can get those exits bang on.
And there we have it. That is the first lap into the 141s. Matt F again on his next flying lap with a 141.9.
Wow.
Was the benchmark to beat so far.
Now the Porsche looking rapid over this track. Though I will say, only over one lap. If he can, he's going to have a mission. If he can qualify on pole, which I hope he does in that Porsche, because that is a cracking effort. But that Porsche is going to struggle in some of the key overtaking areas, like turn 1, the run down to Sunrise, is it? The sweeping right-hand hairpin. There's places where the Porsche can get caught out due to its lack of top speed.
Oh, and it's another Ferrari we see go spinning in front of Tom Tweedy, and I think he's still up on his time, so still potential here for Tom to improve on his current 9th place, which I'm sure that that livery looks beautiful on his screen, but at the moment just a white car on ours.
At least it's white and not just black carbon.
Yeah, it's an improvement over last race.
Tom obviously having many lovely liveries that he's downloaded. Oh, I was watching Gonzalez in P3 going deep into T1 on his first turn. It's probably not going to be a pole lap. How's Chris McKenna doing? Because, yeah, like I say, he's one I'd expect to do relatively well, if not in qualifying, at least in race pace.
Yeah, and Tweedy making up the time there in the final sector and posts a 142.1, which puts him nicely into second position.
That's a feisty lap. I mean, the closer to 142 these boys get, the more I'm impressed, honestly. I wouldn't have expected anybody to do a sub 41 this split. So if anyone does,
and
they're probably gonna win.
Varga's very exceptionally close to a 141 there with a 142.03. So these times are coming down with 3 minutes remaining in this session. You've got to say that a couple of these drivers are probably on for another 2 more laps. So I guess the gamble is now, how many drivers do you think are going to get into the 141s? We've already got our first.
Oh, I think 3 or 4 max. I'm gonna back myself and I'm gonna say 3.
Okay,
Car 44 has a plus 5 second penalty for cutting the pit exit line. This will be added at the start of the race.
Car 44, who's that?
Car 44, that is Anwar. So already sitting down in P26. So at the bottom of the silver split, so that's not going to do their starting position any good at all.
No, not at all.
And as Vargas is still looking like they're improving on this lap, well, I mean, my delta's going all over the place, but looking like it could be at least a couple of tenths up. Just needs to keep it clean around these fast few corners.
Yeah, the key to Kyalami, as with Monza, being the exit to those sweeping corners. If you can put the power down, you're going to gain the lap time. And, wow, not quite. Half a tenth off. Jesus, our top 3 is close.
Yeah, and Matt F then was looking like he was about to improve by a couple of tenths as well, but just got a snap of oversteer there and is now down by 2 seconds, so won't not be improving on this lap.
Oh, and he lost it.
Lost it again. Those rear tyres can't be in good condition at the moment.
Porsche doing Porsche things then. Matt F is clearly capable of achieving those times, but the question being, can he hold on to the Porsche long enough to do those
Oh,
times
and we
that
already
whole
have
race?
3 drivers into the 141s. So Ziakin, Hawkins,
Ooh.
and Matt F. All 3 of these drivers with a sub 142.
I think Ziakin being the surprise there. Hawkins has proved himself to be a top of this split in the last race. That guy was
Still up yet?
fast at Monza, but Ziakin was also fast at Monza. I think he suffered from a couple of issues, like incidents during the race. So the top 3, like, well, I mean, I'm looking at the timings here. The top 6, like, trying to establish themselves as the fastest, but it's heads up when it comes to race pace. This is looking to be exciting, Roy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an extremely competitive split by the looks of things. You know, sometimes there has been a little bit of a fear that we've had like one driver run away at the head of a split, but definitely doesn't look like it here.
And even the silver split, we've got a big chunk of the rookie split guys all together, proving that they've got the pace to be at the top of that split.
And there we have it. That's Vargas and McKenna also into the 141s. So
Wow.
barely a tenth and a half separating the top 5.
Oh, that's literally a snap of oversteer on the exit. Hawkins has got to be... I'd imagine if I was him, I'd be screwing that I fucked up that one corner that I knew I'd messed up, that had cost me. But, I mean, starting P2, you've got to be happy with that.
I'm not sure, so just on board with Robu here, not sure if this is a lap he's on at the moment, or this is already seeing the checkered flag, but looking like he's a couple of tenths up.
Oh, I'd love to see a Nissan do well. Go on, lad.
Can we see a Godzilla into the top 5?
Glorious Nippon steel. Come on. Obviously, the key to the Nissan being getting it lined up for those straight lines. Strongest in the straight line, but tricky on that oversteer and those exits out of those mid and slow speed corners. It's where it can be a real beast to manage, but if you can get the speed without getting too much slide on the oversteer, that Nissan will treat you rightly. Oh, I really hope he does well here. Come on, Robu.
Robu looking like he's still putting together a solid lap, potentially losing a little bit around the final sector, but still this is going to be solid. Where's this going to put him?
That's going to make him super tricky to overtake. Oh, it's P6. Good
P6,
effort.
barely missing out on the 141 club with a 142.018, but fantastic laps from, well, gotta say, our top 8 here are really separated by absolutely nothing. If they can keep this up in race pace, then we're on for an exciting race.
I mean, all of that is up until P8 is off the start and race pace. Like, you can beat any of those guys. Any of the top 8 can beat any of the cars ahead of them off the line and maybe hold it. I mean, that's going to be Robu's key. If he can hold on that start to the rest of them, he's got such an advantage in the straight line that the main overtaking points at Kyalami being the hairpins, having that straight line advantage is just going to make you so much more defensible. It's so much harder to get it done. My issue with Kyalami in general has always been that even if I'm faster than somebody ahead, I find it difficult to get the move done cleanly over somebody who's faster because of the number of lines you can take into those wider hairpins.
Indeed, it's going to be interesting to see what those top 6 can do, and we'll be back momentarily to bring you the first race here at Kyalami. as we join our drivers. They just bring us round the final sector on the formation lap. So we've got an exciting race ahead of us here. Very good division, or at the moment looks like we've got quite a solid split between the silvers and the rookie drivers at the moment. We've only Pinkley, Morowitz and Anwar currently sitting amongst the rookie drivers, and will be looking to make their way forward once this race gets underway here at Kyalami. Currently in the twilight hours at the moment, but we will expect to see this this race get extremely dark as we go on, so drivers are going to have to be aware of the nighttime conditions. So drivers bring us round to the final corner. We get ready to get under green flag conditions here at Kyalami. Come down to the lights. We're underway. Oh, unfortunately, looks like a few drive-through penalties there for drivers just trying to anticipate the start. There's already 3 of our top drivers needing to serve drive-through penalties before the end of this race. But coming into the first corner, does look like we've made it through cleanly with just a Ferrari spinning there in the background. Oh, and a few others from the silver split, just not quite keeping the cars under control as they get back underway.
Clean under turn 5, which were, well, I would have expected the issues to be.
It doesn't look like we've had too many issues at the front. A couple of the drivers just missing out there, but in our pro split we still have
Those drive-throughs, are they all off the start, were they?
Yeah, just a few drivers there trying to...
Big issues at the at that left-hander before the S's. Lots of slow cars there. Also back of the pack.
So the leader in the rookie division has been able to drive clear of a couple of the others in their split, so they're got themselves a bit of breathing room there with Anwar and Turrell being able to be used as temporary rear gunners for them.
McKenna's got to be feeling pretty good right now, leading a lap in P1 with P2 having a drive-through, which we can only assume was for being out of position off the start.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a couple of drivers caught out.
Inexcusable for P2. I understand if you're towards the back of the... starting on the corner of this track can be tricky, but if you're at the front of the pack, you've got to get those starts right. It's so key for these races.
Yeah, especially this with the silver split here as well. You'd expect these guys to have just a bit more experience and to know what you can and can't get away with. As Vargas defending there from Lee, just manages to keep ahead.
He looks for it at the inside of the next turn. He might get him on the run.
Yeah, Vargas does run wide there and does give Lee the room. Oh, that's not Lee, apologies. That's Robu in the Nissan.
Glorious nip-on steel. Doing it.
Lee in the Bentley, looking to be taking advantage of the slight lack of control that maybe Vargas has there. A little bit of lack of grip from having run off into the dirt.
Fair play to Vargas for letting Robu in the Nissan go there. That particular corner just after T1 where it narrows down and you've got that sausage curve on the left, that's such a dangerous place to go too wide. It is wise to back out there often. It only takes one person to catch a sausage and for you and their race to end.
Yeah, with some chat mentions, we are just waiting to hear the voice of Glorious DT, as there were a few incidents on the first lap, which I'm sure the stewards are looking at right now. But yeah, this is some close battling going on behind Vargas. Got himself a little bit of breathing space there with almost a second gap behind, but then Lee, Matt F and Nearguard really battling it out behind. With,
Yeah, drivers that proved to have been quick, so watch out for them over the endurance of this race. That Porsche of Matt F, I would look for that one to make some moves going forwards in this race. I'd expect him to have the pace of the leaders at least.
10-second penalty for car 44, contact with cars 13 and 91.
Well, that's unfortunate again, car 44. We heard of them getting a penalty in qualifying, and that's another few behavioural warning points on their record.
Yeah, and he's already coming to serve it, so Anwar in the 44 Nissan is going to be right near the back for this race.
I mean,
we've
and
had
that's
a spinner.
Yeah, we've got a Mercedes round.
Yeah,
that is.
We've got Aston round of Brown as well. I'd imagine they were both involved.
Yes, Mercedes of Ziatkin, who was going so well at the start of this race.
Oh, no,
Drive-through penalty. Yeah, drive-through penalty, and now a spin. It's not really Ziatkin today, and we'll probably be hoping to make amends for that in race 2.
He's doing a good job of being safe on the rejoin, maybe too cautious on the rejoin from Ziatkin there. He's letting a lot of cars go past. I know he's still got the drive-through to serve, but that's going to cost him a lot of time.
Now, while we've been talking, with Vargas having a little bit of an incident, well, with earlier, but with Ziatkin's incident, I think that's given Vargas the opportunity to catch to the back of Robbie. And,
got a move. I was going to say, I thought we had a move happening last turn, but Matt F coming into service drive-through. One of the drivers I would have honestly expected to be up there this race. I think that drive-through is going to cost him a lot of positions this race. I think he was on for a top 10 in that Porsche.
And we've got some battling going down further down the field for P13 as a number of drivers really battling side by side as Fernando Diaz-Gonzalez looks to try and make a move up the inside of the Lexus, and yeah, thinks better of it into turn 1, but probably wise.
The Lexus goes wide, yeah. Oh, you have to be so careful on that move into turn 1 that the guy that you're going up the inside of sees you on his radar and isn't just going to close the door on you. That's something I've seen a lot in this track, is making that move on T1 seems so attractive when you're the car behind, but you've got to remember that the car ahead of you can't see you on their radar until they've committed to that turn-in. The radar doesn't work on that much distance with the number of different lines into T1, it can cause some issues.
Yeah, and with still 23 minutes of this race remaining, that sometimes discretion is the better part of valour, and it's as Diaz-Gonzalez there tries to, well, I'm not sure he tries to make a move there, or maybe just gets a wheel out on the grass.
A 10-second penalty for car 998 for causing a contact with 32.
Oh, and that is the driver we're currently on board with, Diaz-Gonzalez. 10-second penalty for contact. So this fighting that's going on here maybe won't matter so much as the penalty gets served.
You can't give up on a race like this. There's so many. Oh, there's a battle for P1 happening. Oh, is that P1? No, it's not. It's Chris McKenna.
But a battle for P2 as both Vargas and Robu go round. Vargas on the inside has to wait to let loads of cars past, and that's going to really cost him.
Yeah, well played.
And a little bit too much of an over-rotation there, and straight into the path of another car. That's not what you want to see.
He's tried his best there, but unfortunately got caught up there. He has tried to wait for the traffic, but it coming through has just caught him out a little.
Yeah,
always a downside in these races. I mean, I was a foul of it at Monza last week. If you spin out, you have to wait for the pack.
10-second penalty for car 12 for contact with car 26.
And yeah, I mean, as we saw, to be expected really for that contact, as Vargas gets back underway with, I imagine, a considerable amount of damage on that Lexus.
Like I say, Kyalami is a mega tricky track to overtake on. I don't know your experience of it, Roy, but being the faster car behind people is very scary. The only places you've really got to make the move are big braking zones into turn 1, the chicane at the top of the hill, and Sunrise, the big right-hander hairpin before Crocodile. They're kind of the main ones, and even those are tricky with the multiple lines. The racing line takes you out wide and dives you in, and if you want to overtake, you've got to take that inside line. And if the driver on the outside doesn't quite give you the line, it can be very difficult to make it happen.
Yeah, this is really one of those tracks where you want to be following behind another car for a little bit just to learn the lines that they take through the corners, so you can spot where your opportunity to overtake is. Because as you say, so many of these corners have different lines you can take through them, many of them being almost equally as fast, that if you try and second guess the driver ahead of what line they're going to take, you can end up in a world of pain as they turn in earlier than you expect.
We've got a big battle pack into T1 for P16, 15 and 14. Oh, Von Glan has been spun out by the P17 of Kalberg. I'm not 100%. Oh, Otley's tagged him on the way through there.
Oh, and Otley really needs to keep himself out of trouble after picking up 10 behavioural warning points in Monza. Needs to keep his nose clean here, really.
Unfortunate. Obviously 12 being a race DQ. Unfortunate for Von Glan, who span out of his own accord and then got collected. I think we've all been there, right? In that accident that happens in front of you and you sit and hold your brakes and there's nothing else you can do but you get collected and take 2 minutes of damage. They're always frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of racing. There's always going to be that. You're sharing the track with, in this case, 29 other cars, and sometimes you're just a passenger in the incident.
Yeah, 100%. You can do what you can to avoid it, but sometimes it is unavoidable. We've got a nice battle brewing for P14, Hawkins in the Ferrari, leading Kalberg, our P2 qualifier, and Pinkney, who is coming in to serve his penalty now. In the pit window, probably wise, although if you'd listened to Gareth Ronda, the undercut never works in this game. The overcut only works.
Yeah,
you get to test properly, but I don't know your experience on the overcut versus the undercut.
Well, I thought the overcut worked for me beautifully at Monza.
5-second penalty for car 305. Forcing another car off track, and a 5-second penalty for car 23 for an unsafe rejoin.
Well, the car 23 unsafe rejoin, that is indeed Vargas, the unsafe rejoin we did see earlier, and yeah, to be expected.
305 being Williams in the rookie class for the Ferrari 305, serving his penalty from P23, so interesting to see what he can come back with.
And just to check in again with Mason, actually.
Yeah, so I'd say that. Cal Mason doing a cracking job in the rookie class.
Yeah, brought himself a humongous buffer back to the next rookie driver, really.
We have a 10-second penalty for car 23 for contact with car 913.
Well, I mean, I think Vargas is collecting penalty points at this stage. But yeah, as I say, Mason there got himself a great buffer back to the next rookie split driver. It's really just can sort of just cruise around now and a little bit of defending, but doesn't need to defend these drivers behind him too hard. And really,
I will say Carl Mason is one of the ones that I was surprised wasn't promoted out of rookie split last year. He performs really well in rookie split, constantly putting himself in those top 3, top 5 of rookie last year, so for him to put in a good performance this year, fair play to him. This is about where I think he should be, at the sharp end of rookie class.
Almost, we're starting to see our probably the planned pit stop starting to happen now, as opposed to the penalty serving kind. So this field is starting to get shuffled up a bit. What's your usual take on the pit stops? Do you try and go early, go late?
See, I've listen to Gareth maybe a little bit too much. My theory is also, if I'm in traffic, like I'm struggling to overtake when the pit window opens, I will pit to try and get the undercut. If I've got any semblance of free air, or if the person in front of me is equal pace to me, my general strategy is I want to stay out for as long as possible.
10-second penalty for car 184 for contact with car 27.
184, that is Hawkins, who we were watching earlier in the fight for P7. And
he's a fast boy in that split. He's proved himself over one lap, but I think it's just he has struggled for this a little bit over historic races. He's proved his pace, but his racecraft maybe not quite up with his pace.
yeah, and maybe with Kyalami, a little bit of frustration potentially kicking
100%.
in. Yeah, it's a difficult track to overtake, and if you get stuck behind a slower car, it can really play on your mind as how much time you're losing.
As we were talking about where the pit stop strategy, I think, if I'm stuck behind people I can't overtake, I'm going to box. But in general, I think the overcut works better on ACC. Those first couple of laps on new tyres, I don't know if you agree with me, but I find they're always way slower. So I'd rather have the track position and defend than come out behind somebody and try and catch them.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a big fan of fueling myself up to the 20-minute mark in these races and just see how I go.
Yeah, so I always fuel with a 10-minute pit window, I always fuel for 35 minutes. That's my plan. I want to go long. 9 times out of 10, I get involved in some kind of incident that makes me think I want to either repair my damage or get out earlier. Speaking of, how much damage would you count as repairable, in your opinion, Roy? So you got a few seconds, 10 seconds damage. Do you repair that in the pit stop?
I'm usually I tend to try and go on feel. How is the car performing at this given moment, and have my lap times deteriorated? I think when I was last split in Bathurst, carrying I think 20 seconds of damage, but I was in a comfortable P2 and able to maintain the gap to the car behind, and it was just okay. I'm not repairing this damage. If I spend the extra 20 seconds in the stop, I'm losing the position. So I just carried that through to the end. But if I'm in traffic and losing time, you've just got to repair it, surely.
Yeah, I think so. I think sub 15 seconds, I'm probably going to leave it. If it's 15 seconds or more, I'm probably going to repair it. Honestly, it depends on the position on track I am. If I'm in the top 10 and I've got 10 seconds of damage, I'm not repairing that. I feel like less than 15 seconds damage you can maintain optimal times with, but I think more than 15 seconds, the main thing in this game is if you've got more than 10 to 12 seconds damage, any extra tap is going to tip you into the light damage dealt error message that comes up when you hit. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you hit something and the game comes up to say light damage dealt. I think any more than about 10 to 15 seconds of damage than that, I don't want to take more.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I guess it all just comes down to what's it going to cost you in the race.
So Matt F coming out in P15, 6 seconds behind Guardstig, who, speaking of, is in an intense battle for P13 with Ed Terrell. These are two drivers who have shown themselves to have pace and to have good racecraft, so I expect a good battle from these two guys. The Lexus versus the Aston. I don't know, what cars have you driven in your ACC experience, Roy?
So I think to start with, I dabbled with the Aston, settled into the Macca, and now for now settled for the Ferrari. Those are my main experience, and I did like the Aston as the stability, but I just felt that trying to find extra pace in it was challenging.
Yeah,
myself.
And being an Aston driver, I 100% agree. Half the reason I decided to stick with the Aston was consistency over pace. I've driven it, having driven it the most, it was the one I was most comfortable with in it. Obviously, off multiple people's experience. Oh yeah.
Turrell there just hitting the Kyalami salami, and
Yeah.
you don't want to be doing that when you're fighting for position, because you are going to lose that position.
Can't eat the sausage. I mean, you can in the Aston, but not that much. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about the Aston, the reason I picked it, it's the most consistent from me. I mean, having tried a bunch of other cars, there's times I can do better over one lap in other cars, but I can't do that lap 5 times as well as I can in the Aston. So, if you're any newbies listening out there, pick the Aston Martin. It is the best car in this game. I think almost undeniably overall, I think the Aston is the safest and the best to push in. I feel like I can push the hardest in the Aston. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I especially when the conditions get changeable, the Aston really shows its strength. I've cast my mind back to the 12 hours of Suzuka. I think for the top 5 were all in Astons,
Well,
and it just gives you the confidence to push.
I think it was Audi's at Suzuka. But no, it was Kyalami. It was Audi's, right? Yeah, but Suzuka was Aston's. Yeah, and that was again the reason we picked it. Is we're the safest in it, and that Aston is so good. If in doubt, pick the Aston, boys. I would never back down from that point of view. If you're new to this game where you want to learn how to drive quickly and consistently, drive the Aston. It'll make you look good like it makes me look good.
We see a lot of the drivers now, I think, just settling down into their positions with less than 10 minutes of this race remaining.
We got any pit stoppers left? We got Pretorius is pitting, Donald's pitting.
Tweedy's in the pits, and on the way out, let's see where Tweedy finds himself. Looks like coming out just in front of the, or just behind, sorry, the McLaren of Diaz Gonzalez, and alongside the McLaren of Mason there, who takes the position. The rookie driver taking the position after the pits from the silver split driver.
Speaking of, actual leader Chris McKenna is in the pits.
Oh, yeah, we should
So
really see how this is
where
going.
he comes out, yeah, because that battle for P1 is close.
It's,
Nergard often have it. Well, Nergard proving last season he's got some good pace, and Robu in that Nissan doing an absolutely fantastic job getting that up into P3.
well, as Nergard comes around the final corner, we go
looks
take
like
a look at McKenna is out, so it's looking like it's close. Well, not too close. No, McKenna's got it. Yeah, he has got him.
He needs to defend on these cold tyres though, which is not always easy. Those tyres of Nergard, he's lucky that he's got that Zyatkin buffer between McKenna and Nergard. So Nergard has to pass that back marker in order to get a gap, and it's about 5 seconds. So
yeah, it's going to be a tall order for Nergard. 6.6 seconds the gap, and with McKenna, shouldn't take him that long to get those tyres switched on. Not in these conditions anyway. They're doesn't have to heat them up too much.
And their best laps are similar. So the best lap of 42.3, which is a cracking lap for McKenna, and a 42.4 for Nergard, which again is an amazing lap in the Honda. Like,
and it does appear to be a couple of back markers between them, so yeah, really going to be a challenge for Nergard. I think McKenna is smart. He can just nurse this one home. Only 7 minutes of the race remaining, and not under too much pressure at the moment.
Yeah, McKenna probably, I didn't say it before, but probably one of my favourites, if not for pace, then for consistency on his practice on the 6 hours of this track by himself. There's no way he doesn't know how to drive this track in that car. I'm sure he was taking the Bentley last time, so fingers crossed, like, I know I'm being massively biased here, but fingers crossed McKenna can just bring it home. All he needs to do is not make any mistakes. He can take it easy. He doesn't need to push the fastest pace. He just needs to not mess it up, and he'll take this win back, which, to be honest, I think he deserves after the things I've seen him do on Kyalami.
And looking back in the pack, I'm not sure if Hughes has taken a pit stop yet, but if he hasn't, this is a fantastic drive. Oh, sorry, if he has, this fantastic drive in the Bentley. As looks like he's being harassed by a few silver split drivers here, and maybe just a smart option to let them go, as they do seem to be impatient to take the position.
Again, this comes down to a little bit of racecraft. Like, do you let that driver go because you know it's not for position? I mean, in Hughes' position, he's got a lot of positions to give without it costing him anything. But would he want to give up the pride for those overall positions? That's always the question I ask myself. Even lapping a slower car, like, I don't expect somebody to give up an overall position just because they think I'm faster, you know. Sometimes you have to beat these guys if you want to prove you're faster than them, right?
Yeah, but then if you're fighting someone who's not in your split and you have an incident and you lose out to someone who is, you're gonna feel like a bit of a fool.
That is true. So if you were Hughes in this situation, you let Garstig go?
I think letting go is a bit strong, but if Garstig makes it look like he wants to make a move, I am not going to go anywhere near him. He can have all the space he wants.
Yeah, my theory when it comes to this sort of thing, if I'm Garstig in this situation, I'm probably going to sit in behind Hughes right up until he makes a mistake that costs him the time for me to go past. So if he can prove he's got the pace to hang, then I'm going to not try and overtake him. But if he makes a mistake, I'm sending it up the inside so that he lets me go.
But then again, I'm not sure if Garstig has the luxury of time here, as he's got a couple of the other silver split drivers on his back as well, and there we go.
Again,
takes the inside there, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Hughes just giving Garstig all the room in the world, not needing to fight for that position, and you just let the guy go. Just don't ruin your own race.
That corner is not the best place to let people go, though. If I was going to let Hughes go, it would be into T1, not the point where two racing lines come into one in that tight chicane into Sector 2. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I mean, to be fair, if I was Hughes, I wouldn't have tried to hang that around the outside at all. I would have just braked early and let him go into turn 1 and then tucked him behind. That's you always run the risk of if someone decides to try and take the inside lane and outbrakes themselves, they're going to come wash out to you. Or as Matt F looks
together for P10, yeah.
Matt F looking like he absolutely wants to take this position and go and get after Garstig, so
well, I think more to the point, he wants to put him and Hughes between him and Terrell. Terrell's looking racy in that purple, blue and black Aston, like.
Yeah, that pack of Terrell, Ipatov and Diaz Gonzalez is caught right up to the pack.
Yeah.
I think Hughes may be just slowing some of these drivers down.
I think he's the key factor in this battle.
And yeah, you can see right behind these as these Astons look like they're duking it out here in the final few minutes of this race.
Ipatov trying to go around the outside of Terrell, maybe losing out to Gonzalez, and quite just getting the exit in that Aston. But yeah, I think Hughes kind of holds the card in his hands. Like, he can choose who he lets go or who he doesn't here. So
could be a bit of a kingmaker.
If he doesn't let Terrell go, then Matt F is in a great spot. But if he does just let Terrell go easily, then Matt F might be under some pressure.
Though it does appear Matt F putting a little bit of a gap to Hughes, so not going to be under immediate pressure, and I imagine Hughes is going to be slowing these two Astons behind down. As looks like Diaz Gonzalez is actually, yeah, absolutely, but Diaz Gonzalez seems to have dropped back. And what's happened here? Who was on the back of that pack doesn't seem to be carrying too much damage, so maybe just lost it a bit on the exit of a corner somewhere, but that's unfortunate for the McLaren driver.
I mean,
But,
the back of that McLaren looking a little bit
and Matt F
messed
is
up.
round.
No
Not sure what
way.
happened there. Didn't see what happened, but that has allowed Hughes has allowed Taro and Ipatov past, it looks like, and so they're continue on their way. Not sure what happened with Matt F there. Looked like the incident had already happened when we went back to check in with them.
I guess I would say Porsche things. Having driven the Porsche for a season, I know how unpredictable that car can get under low fuel. It is a rapid car if you can extract the best out of it, but it can also extract the mistakes out of the driver.
Yeah, I did toy with the idea of picking up the Porker for a race or for a championship, and then I very quickly put that one aside when I decided to go backwards around the corner. No, don't fancy a core that wants to do that.
As Shen as I talk about it sometimes, the Porsche is like that beautiful ex-girlfriend. You know, if you do laps on your own in the Porsche, it feels like an amazing piece of machinery that you can do amazing times in. And then as soon as you try and race that thing, she just slaps you in the face and tells you to sit the fuck down.
Yeah, it's especially if you're trying to drive it like any other car, it's just not going to do what you expect of it. With the
And that was honestly like 90% of the reason I stuck with the Aston going into Goldsmith this season is it is the car I can push the hardest and it not murder me, so I can push and still do a lap time, and I need that in a car personally.
as McKenna crosses the start-finish line to win this race in Kyalami, followed by
yes, Chris
Neergaard.
McKenna.
And we have Robu, Lee, and Trulio rounding the final corner to take 4th and 5th.
Yes.
And a crash on the final corner between is that Legierski and was that Trulio?
Legierski, our P2 starter, fighting his way back up to P6 after some early tribulations and finishing P6.
Both
I mean, that's got to
drivers-
be a good effort for him overall, but I think he would have expected better. But massive shout outs to Chris McKenna. Well played, sir. Deserved win of this race. If anyone deserved a win on Kyalami, it was Chris McKenna.
And Matt F there opting to stop his Porsche in the middle of the road there with some cars having to take evasive action. I don't think they'll be too happy about that.
Are we doing in split? Hughes setting the win, and then Mason and McGuigan.
Yeah, so
That is a classy podium for rookie. Some of the standouts that I would have expected doing expertly well, but an extra shout out to Alice McGuigan getting a P3 in rookie class. Well played, Alice.
yeah, well
I think Cal
P3
Mason should have. I think Cal Mason maybe even Hughes should have been a class above. But congratulations for them. But I don't want that to take away for Alice McGoon getting a P3 in rookie. That is the best result I've seen from her. So congratulations.
Congratulations to all our drivers, and we'll be back very shortly for race 2.
A 10-second penalty for car 33 for contact with car 32.
And yep, that is Legierski.
That's not going to make a difference, is it?
Well, it could do with the way that they finished.
33 was P6 with the 10-second penalty. If
they hadn't had the contact, that 10-second penalty wouldn't really have mattered. But the contact and the loss of time there meant the rest of the pack did catch them when they crossed the line, so that could be very costly.
Yeah, actually, looking at the timing screen, that's a big penalty for Wagner's there.
We will be back very shortly for race 2 in Kyalami.
More hype, guys!
Hype!
smell of rain into my bed and lie so close to me. You could be inside my head. Maybe it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing to feel the kind of magic that your love brings. Some days it's like a haunting. This cool
Well, welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get underway with race number 2 here in Kyalami. Welcome back, Chris.
Always historically more carnage than race 1, if my race 2 is anything to go by.
Yeah, it seems to be some people are more careful, some people are more, but less careful.
Yeah.
As it
Less
goes on.
drive-throughs off the start.
Yes, let's hope so.
Kyalami is a tricky track. If you're not in the first group, you do normally have to start on the hairpin when it switches to the ready to drive, and that can cause some drive-throughs, but let's see if we get the same off the start this time.
I certainly hope not. That would be a great shame if we got any more drivers. And it looks like the
classic.
everyone's
Nice.
been a bit more careful this time. With I say careful. Definitely got some wheel-to-wheel action. Oh, some real side-by-side going into turn 1. It looks like everyone so far at the front has kept it all together. And that's an Audi just slowing down there. It's collected a few cars at the back, but other than that, looks like we're fairly safely through turn 1.
Turn 5 being obviously a classic pinch point, but it looks like we're making it through pretty safely. Nice start, guys. Nice start.
What we like to see.
I mean, it's not, but
Well,
I'd like to see a big crash, you know? Well, that's been cool. At least a couple of people out, you know? But this one's been pretty smart. Pretty smart. Nice start from the group.
and,
Hughes down in P16.
but
obviously,
Chris McKenna, having won the first race, has now made a move for P1. So he's got past Ziatkin and's on his way.
Second, obviously getting a drive-through last race off the start, so intriguing to see the battle between the two of them. Bentley versus AMG. How do you feel about that battle around here?
I mean, neither car I've driven much. I do know the Bentley has some good straight line speed, but not really many places to utilise that here at Kyalami. Not very many long straights.
Oh, yeah, but I think the traction from that Bentley, while being the traction from the AMG is, don't get me wrong, amazing, it's going to take specifically excellent exits from that AMG to be able to beat that Bentley. The Bentley, known for being consistent over a long period. I think Chris McKenna picked himself a good car this season, and it's not particularly strong at any track, but it's good everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially here with a lot of first gear corners. Really having that the traction out of all these corners really going to pay dividends over the long run.
Yeah, I think Chris has put himself in a good spot to just run away with this race again, and hopefully he does, because like I say, shout out to him for the massive amount of practice he's put into Kyalami, whether he wanted to or not. You know, that man has had a lot of practice around this track in this car, so
I'd like to assure one,
higher.
there's no bias in this commentary box, none at all.
No, 100%. There's so much bias. Are you kidding me? I want Tom Tweedy to do well. I want Alice McGuigan to do well.
And Matt F got that Porsche right on the back of Vargas again.
Spicy. That Porsche. I am undeniable that the Porsche can do great laps around here. It's just whether or not they can do it for the whole race. I don't know if you've ever driven the Porsche, but the one thing it taught me.
We have a 5-second penalty for car 44 for an unsafe rejoin.
44 again. That's Anwar.
He's been in the wars today.
Yes, and Vargas is off, so that gives the position to Matt F. But Vargas not giving up, tries to take it on the inside into the last corner.
I mean,
they're going to be.
Lexus so good in the traction zones. It's hard to beat a Lexus off corner exit.
Oh, but near guard in the NSX, they're not going to go free wide into turn 1. That would be foolish.
Matt F, giving the defensive line in that Porsche, saying to Vargas, like, no, this is not for you. But that train, I mean, it's always awkward. Like, the worst place to be in a train of 3 is in the middle, right? I don't know if you've been in that position, but being chased down whilst you're chasing somebody down is always super hard to deal with, especially in, like, these kind of lower splits where you're not 100% sure on the drivers around you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're never not sure whether you're looking for the gaps to the car ahead or you're trying to close off the gaps for the car behind. You don't want to aim to go for a position and then end up losing out, because you've gone for a bit of an optimistic move.
And the same if you're the attacking car. If you're near guard, for example, in this situation, just behind the Lexus of Wagers, you don't want to make a move that's not going to work and cost you time to the Mat F Porsche in front of you, because you want to catch them both. This track again, I think this track is one of the hardest to get an overtake done with. It's easy to set up an overtaking move into one of the big braking zones, be that.
We have a 5-second penalty for car 52 for contact with car number 13, and a 5-second penalty for car 33 for contact with 298.
That's Roy Bottomley down in P25. Car 32 I haven't found yet.
So yeah,
32 is it's Juan Julio, who I wanted to give a shout out for being my boy and saying hello to me every time I join a practice server. Juan Julio having easily the pace. Oh, I've just seen Marouettes in a P27 Ferrari dead at P1 at T1 and no longer moving.
We have a 10-second penalty for car 44 for contact with car 91.
44 again. Not a good day. And
well, Anwar again.
Morowitz looking like he's just given up here, and yeah, might want to take that car back to the pits, and has retired from the session, so won't be causing a problem. Yeah. But
my advice would always be to bring it back to the pits and get more racing you can done just for the experience, especially if as a rookie split driver, right? You need the racecraft experience is often way more important than pace.
Absolutely, and just seeing Matt F and Zatkin going side by side down after the hairpin, that was some intense wheel to wheel there. I mean, you can get two cars side by side, but at the speeds there, if either of them make a mistake, it's a big crash you're going to have.
Yeah, and this is the thing about Kyalami is the overtaking zones there's so many different lines through them. It can be done. It can be done in many different ways. You can brake late and take the outside line and try and get a good line for the next one. You can brake early and try for the cutback. You can try and dive people on the inside. It's one of the great beauties of this track is the number of different moves that can get done into these braking zones makes it so exciting for racing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you've got the trust in the other driver, you can really make some interesting moves. But I think, with these two splits at the moment, having only raced a wet Monza together at the moment, probably don't really have the measure of each other enough to have the confidence to go side by side.
Yeah, for sure. There's some moves that I would only ever do with people I knew already. Sometimes if there's somebody I don't know, I'm going to give them the extra space. And in a league race like this, it's always that argument to yourself whether or not this guy behind me seems faster. Do I let him go and stop him ruining my race, or do I defend and try and hold this one position from him? It's always in every race this season. That's going to be the decision to be made.
Yep, and
for example, if we watch P10 right now, these guys are going side by side with the different lines. Gardstig holding on to the outside line through Sunrise, that time from Ipatov, but I can't believe it's going to be too long until Ipatov goes for the move on him one way or the other.
Yeah, and there's a beginning.
Or not getting a good exit. It's got a good run down the straight. So he could maybe dive him into T1.
It would be a brave move, and wow, getting on the brakes there and narrowly avoiding the collision there. As it looks like a slower car being blue flagged there.
And I think another key to this kind of racing is how to manage those blue flags. I think blue flag management is something you don't see often in this sort of low-level rookie racing.
Well,
But
Ipatov's got the inside line there and
nice.
made it work. That was a
was
beautiful
nice.
move, and has now got the outside here. And yep,
Yeah.
there's the move made, and should be able to pull away a little bit in that Aston with the good traction.
I'd imagine Ipatov pull away. He looked like he had the pace on Guardstick. Guardstick being, from my experience, a very solid racer. You know, he knows where you are on the track. So him probably letting Ipatov go, maybe a strategic choice, like he knew the decision he had to make.
But now Garstig under pressure from Diaz Gonzalez, who's catching reasonably quickly in the McLaren.
My experience with McLarens is always the same as it is with Lambo drivers, is you don't need to overtake them, you just need to wait for them to bin it.
As Matt F is now back very, very close to Zatkin.
Yeah, Matt F, like, pure race pace, Matt F is one of the people I would have expected to be near the front of this pack, so battling for P4 with Zatkin, he's gonna have to find his spot, because that AMG is really good on corner exit, which is where the Porsche normally finds its prey, is on the brakes and in the corner exit. It might struggle against the AMG, so Matt F is going to have to pull out all the moves he knows to get this move done.
Yeah, really around, you are waiting, but perhaps not for a mistake, but just for a driver to take a slightly suboptimal line to give yourself that little bit of more of an advantage. The absolute pure racing probably isn't going to do it here.
My experience in Kyalami, driving the Aston, so say what you will, chat. I drive the Aston, but my experience is generally I am waiting for them to make that mistake, and if they're not going to make that mistake, my goal is to defeat them into one of the big braking zones. So Zatkin on the AMG brakes, which are notoriously pretty good, can keep ahead of Matt F. Matt F is going to have a hard time overtaking Zatkin and that AMG on pure pace. Like, at the corners, that AMG is maybe slightly worse, but not so worse that the Porsche is going to get that braking advantage into T1 that he's really looking for.
We have a 10-second penalty for car 44 for contact with 52. And then we have a 15-second penalty for car 52 for causing a major incident.
So car 52 being Roy Otton today already with a penalty and gathering another one, and Anwar picking up the other penalty there. A guy we've already seen be in the penalties today, so that's going to hurt him more. He's already got a stop-go 30.
Yeah, I don't...
Looks like for speeding in the pit, so that's probably going to destroy his race in that glorious Nippon steel.
Well, I don't have the penalty sheet open tonight, but I imagine Anwar has just been collecting behavioural warning points like they're candy. And if we take a look at Nick Hughes at the top of the rookie split, it's on the back of Ed Turrell in the silver split. It's giving him a good race at the moment, so good strong showing from Hughes.
Yeah, speaking of top of the rookie split, it was Cal last time. Is he out of this race? I don't find it. Cal Mason, currently in P24. He was the top of that split last race, so I can only imagine something happened to him.
Yeah, and did qualify quite high up in the overall qualification.
Already,
so definitely an
he's already pitted. He's already pitted.
Ah, good commentary team. Definitely didn't spot that.
Going for the undercut, which, if you believe Gareth, which I'm honestly inclined to believe at this point from my experience, the undercut, not the one on this game. The overcut seems to work better. I mean, getting your tyres up to pressure seems to be a lot harder than racing with tyres that are gone. in my experience.
Yeah, well, the tyres don't, especially in these sprint series races, the tyres easily hang on for the half-hour race. And
Oh
here,
yeah,
here
easily.
at the
There's 2 quali stints for the tyres in these races.
yeah, for
We have a plus 5 second penalty for car 44 for ignoring yellow flags.
at this point,
That's
can we just have the bonk
Amaro
come in?
again.
Yeah, can we just have the bonk come in and we'll assume it's for car 44 at this point?
Yeah, that's Kyalami picking up another penalty after his stop go 30 that he's already picked up. So, despite his pace, that man is out of the race. Speaking of people coming out the pits, we've got Romain Fabini coming out in P13, who I would call one of my ones to watch. I've raced with him a few times, and that guy has pace for sure, especially in that McLaren. It's whether or not he can get the moves done on those in front, because he's only come out behind Ipatov, 1.3 seconds behind Ipatov, and only a few seconds behind Wagner's himself. So if he can close up that gap, there's a chance that he can put in some good results for this race.
Yeah, there's quite a few drivers now coming into the pits, so we've got just a few at the top left to go, but the majority of the other drivers have served their mandatory pit stop for this race. So it will be interesting to see where these top few drivers manage to filter back in.
Yeah, Terrell, I'd be interested to see if the overcut could work as part of my overcut work strategy, because he was in a good spot, Chris McKenna and Ed Terrell, looking to the pack behind them. If they can stay out long, I think they've got a good chance of some really good points this race. I think Ed Terrell is one to watch in this division in total. I think he's underestimated of his pace.
As we look at Lewis Hawkins trying to get past the Ferrari of the rookie split driver of Roy Bottomley, who's not making it easy here. You know, every right to fight. They are, you know, in the same race, even if they're not in the same tier.
Always awkward. From my point of view as the faster driver, I'm always a little bit annoyed if the slower driver holds me up. But I do respect their right to race. It's not my racetrack. If they don't want to give me the position, they don't have to, and I will work to make it done.
Cool. I've got a recording of that now, so if I end up in front of you tomorrow, I will be playing that back to you.
Yeah, right. It's close, then I might change my tune.
So you see,
I always think if you're in like the top 10-ish, I always think if you can prove to me you've got the pace to be in front of me, I'm happy to sit behind you. But if you then make a mistake, I want to come past you. That's always been my opinion on blue flags. If the person being blue flagged is as quick or quicker than me, go for it. But if you're definitely not, let me go.
yeah, I
don't
tend
know how
to
you feel about that.
yeah, I tend to apply the blue flag ruling on the different split drivers. So if they're within half a second of you, probably best just to let them go. They're more of a you know, a potential calamity waiting to happen rather than a strategic advantage to keep them behind.
My opinion might be slightly different. Whereas if I'm within half a second, if they're clearly gapping me, like clearly catching up to me like 2 seconds a lap faster, I'll let them go. But if it's about within a second and I've got a challenge in front of me, I'm not going to give up that position just for them. That's my opinion on blue flags. If I am deep at the back and letting the leaders through, I will let them go every time. But if I'm competing for position, so say for example, you know, Rubini and Ipatov right now, they're pretty close. If I was Fabini and a blue flag came up to me, I would ignore the shit out of that, because
5 second penalty for car 27 for contact with car 24.
Oh, I thought Dan Terry was about to come in and give you a penalty for language there.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I think in these sorts of sprint races, though, especially if you're driving in the top split in a sprint series, if you're getting blue flagged, you probably had a bit of a poor race already. And at that point, my mindset is likely going to be of, oh, this race is done, just let them go.
Yeah, my opinion is always, I'll give the car in front of me a chance. It doesn't matter what spot they're in. I'll give them a chance to prove they're quicker than me, and if they make a mistake or if they're not quicker than me, I expect them to let me through.
And Matt F hit, catching to the back of Garstig.
Oh, he is catching goods. Yeah, he's one of the ones I expect to be the quickest.
With the top 4 still left to pit, this is our closest race on the track. And yeah, Matt F really been just chasing down this Lexus for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for him to get past. I don't see how he does it.
10-second penalty for car 913 for contact with car 52.
Also, that is the Nissan of Robu. Car 52, no. That is Roy Bottomley. So was that potentially a blue flag? And so, yep, it is the up to the lapping driver to make the move safely. Just because there's blue flags doesn't entitle you to the entire racetrack.
Yeah, you have to make it both work together. That's part of what I was saying. Is if you're the faster driver, you have to sort of see whether or not that slower driver will let you go, or if you're going to have to make the move yourself. And it looks like Robu, who clearly has pace today in that Nissan, unfortunately fallen foul of that decision.
The leaders are in the pits now, so let's see. We've got Lewis Hawkins coming round. Where is this on track?
Hawkins, one of the ones I would have expected to have the 1 lap pace. So it will be interesting to see where he comes out. If he can come out in the lead, having already stopped, like...
Oh, so this is quite early on in the third sector, so I think McKenna should be able to get out comfortably back into the lead. Yep, looks like he's back underway now, so yep, this has been a quite uneventful pit stop for McKenna. In from the lead, back out into the lead. So yeah, you can't really ask for much more.
No, yeah, you can. I mean, for all that's been said, 1 lap pace can only do so much. The pit stops in ACC are so key to get right. Stopping in the right spot on the pit box is so important if you want to win a race as competitive as this.
And even better for McKenna is the fact that Hawkins and some back markers have got out in front of Ziatkin. So again, really works out very well for McKenna with Ziatkin with all the work to do if he wants to try and catch up. And well, Hawkins profiting quite well from that set of pit stops. So with Ronda telling us that the undercut doesn't work, but it definitely has for Hawkins.
Yeah. I mean, I think it helps that Hawkins has definitely got the pace of the cars around him. I mean, if you look at their best laps, Chris McKenna with a 1:42.2, which I just want to say is outstanding, and Hawkins with the 1:22.4. Yeah, also being outstanding. Those two should be the 2 leaders in this race. That is an outstanding pace for those guys. And the fact that Jonas is on a 1:42.7 in that Honda, I think that should also be commended. These guys are sending it in this race.
And the man we're on board with now, Octavian Robu.
We have a 5-second penalty for car 305 for using the in-game text chat during a race.
You hate to see that.
Yep, simple penalty, not really much for the stewards to look at there. You've typed in chat, you're getting a penalty.
Hawkins, Williams even having already retired after that, that's just going to add to his BWP for after the race. Yeah. You don't want to do it. Just, if you've got shit to talk, do it in Discord.
Or don't do it at all. That's
Wow,
what we're probably looking for.
No, I'm not opposed to that. I want a little bit of drama. Come on, Roy.
A little bit of spice,
yeah.
But as I was going back to my earlier point, if Octavian Robu,
oh my God, who's that? Oh, he's just binned it on T5 on barbecue.
Oh no! Unsafe rejoin. Oh no! You can't. Yeah, you can't just go and drive across the track when you're rejoining. point it in a straight line and get moving. Oh, that was yeah,
that
back to the
was-
pits, and yeah,
Wagner's waiting for the field to pass before he rejoins. Fair play to him, but that's going to cost him a lot of positions. He had the pace today.
yeah,
He's
advantage-
returned to pits as well from Wagner's. That's really unfortunate. He was on for a podium.
that is unfortunate. That's yeah, Otley there with just it needs to have a think about that. You can't just drive across a live racetrack when you've had a spin. You need to get it pointing straight and be predictable.
Exactly. I mean, that's the key, right? When it comes to rejoining, be predictable, stay off the racing line. That's the thing. So if you know you're on the outside, you're going to have to go the long way round on the grass, or the short way round on the grass if you're on the inside. But yeah, it's, a key to rejoining is taking a check of the track map, and this is part of the reason we recommend people use the full track map. You know, just so you can see when the traffic's still coming. Like, your relative only does so much when you're trying to rejoin. Yeah, that was a real unfortunate one for Wagner's. He deserves better this race.
Yeah, and I suspect that will be another ping from DT very
As
shortly.
Tweedy just bins it at the hairpin there. Oversteer at the hairpin, clips the curb. He's got a...
He's back underway though. You sure it was Tweedy?
Yeah. He clipped the inside curb, clipped the inside wall there on the exit of the hairpin. Too much power, oversteered onto the inside curb, so he's going to have to hold on to that position with the amount of damage he's now got. And he's under pressure from Alice, who's been doing some solid laps.
Yeah, and if we're talking again of our rookie drivers, Hughes again holding up a pack of well, there's a silver and a rookie driver in there as well, so he needs to be careful with this one actually. You know, can potentially afford to let Ed Turrell pass, but has got Jay Brown behind, does not want to cede that position at all, so there needs to be some careful deliberation here in the cockpit of that Bentley.
It's a tricky track to get the overtakes done. You can be quicker than somebody, but being quicker and actually passing somebody, they're two different skills.
We check back in, see what Ipitov still chasing down here, now on the back of the Bentley of Lee. And yeah, these with McKenna already 13 seconds.
5-second penalty for car number 3 for an unsafe rejoin.
And I don't, although I cannot see which driver that was, I don't think there are any surprises as to who that is going to be.
It looks like it was given to a car who has left the server.
But yeah, McKenna really controlling this race here, 13-second lead, but still quite a lot of fighting going for the rest of the positions, with Neergaard chasing down Hawkins for the P2. This race could still all change from where we are now.
That NSX is an absolute beast on the straight, so if he can get a good run into T1, like, he's got 2 laps left to do it, it's still doable. I mean,
ooh, and a little bit of a twitch there for the Ferrari of Hawkins gives Neergaard the opportunity to close up a bit to the Ferrari. And,
he has to be really close on the exit at this last corner. He has to get a really good exit, Neergaard.
Yeah, we'll just hope that yeah, and Hawkins does run a little wide there, but
so does Neergaard.
yeah, but keeps it pointing in the right direction. No hint of oversteer there for either driver. So yep, it's likely not to be a opportunity into turn 1. Hawkins taking a very defensive line into turn 1. Didn't think he had the drive down there, but you know, really too much of a gap back to Neergaard for him to have any real opportunity to make a move. So Hawkins only really cost himself time there.
You can't underestimate the dive bomb though, can you? You know, you've got to protect from that. Oh, Nergard looking so close on this straight. He needs to keep Hawkins tight into this corner. He needs to keep his line tight.
And just gets out on the marbles and doesn't have the grip there. Yeah, as you say, needs to keep him squeezed to the inside line there. Don't let him get the power on early enough to just get the power on earlier and run him out.
He's still got one last chance into the uphill hairpin. If Nergard can get close, maybe he stands a chance for this race.
And potentially
he's got the run.
With the gap to the leader, there's still going to be another lap here, because McKenna has started his final lap of the race, but it's not the one that these drivers are on.
Yeah, Nergard, that's good for Nergard right now. He needs that extra run. That run down into T1 is his best opportunity to get this move done.
Actually, I might be wrong if we check in with McKenna. Actually, no, I am wrong. He is coming round the final corner. No, he hasn't made it onto another lap.
Interesting.
So this is it. This is our race end. So not long for Nergard to try and make this move.
Nergard needing those extra laps. Not going to get it from Hawkins unless Hawkins messes up massively, which he doesn't. He holds on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely supreme driver of these two, and bring it back across the line in second and third.
I'll be honest, if you hadn't asked me before this race, I would have said Hawkins, McKenna and Nergard. They were 3 of my top 5 for this silver split race, so I'm glad to see Chris McKenna putting his Kyalami practice into race wins, so congratulations to him.
Well, Matt F does bring it home in P11, and we'll see soon where Robu drops down to with that 10-second penalty. And drivers do need to be careful here as they come to bring their car to a stop. This is still a live racetrack until everyone has returned to the pit, so don't just park it in the middle.
Oh, Charles, is Alice going to make it? Is that P3 or P4? Oh,
it looks like it's P4 for Alice McGuigan, so another strong finish for Alice in the Ferrari. That's
a solid result.
With Cal Mason dropping down the field a bit, it's going to bring it home in P18
I would have expected Cal to be top of the split.
We have 3 penalties that will be added at the end of the race. They are for car 99 and 24.
The cars 99 and 24 look
the 95 is a Porsche of Matt F, I believe. 99.
Yes, it is.
And then Hughes in the Am Bentley. Oh, so that could enough
be
for
costly.
Brown to get? Yeah. Is that enough for Brown to get the P1? I think it is.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see with this one being added at the end of the race. Yeah, have to tune in next week to see where this all pans out. We can bring you the all the stewards' adjustments and bring you the standings of this rookie and silver splits.
A big shout out to Chris McKenna. What a drive! Deserved it. He did those 6 hours. The practice paid off. Well played, Chris McKenna.
Yeah, well done, Chris. That was a commanding race. With only 30 minutes here to be almost 15 seconds clear of the rest of the field is a true show of domination, and especially to walk away with both race wins as well.
Not even the car he did that race in. Was it? Did he do the Bentley actually? I think he did. But even still, he was dominant today.
And as we can see, a somewhat cruel prediction up in chat.
Get more penalties. Yes.
Do we mean today? Or in the rest of this season? But anyway, thank you all for watching. It's been an incredible 2 races to watch, and I hope you've all enjoyed it. We will be back next week at Imola for a slightly more conventional race with everyone driving in the dry daytime conditions. So hopefully we'll see fewer incidents. I'll keep all my fingers and toes crossed for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't need to promote the stream tomorrow because I'll be in it and there will be many incidents. So nobody needs to watch that. Please don't watch me.
Well, unfortunately, it is my duty now to let you know that we do also have streams on this very channel tomorrow and Sunday night. Tomorrow for our bronze and gold split with both
No, that's
myself
okay.
and Chris in there.
No, you don't need to watch
Hopefully
that.
not causing too much carnage. And then on Sunday we have the pro split being commentated by Gareth Ronda. And is that yourself co-commentating on that one?
Yeah, I believe so. If Gareth will still have me.
So he's been listening to this one, so maybe he'll think otherwise. But
Yeah.
all the best, everyone, and catch you all next week for Imola.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna shoot that in.
This isn't YouTube, this is Twitch.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow. How about that?
Even better. Thanks, everyone.